Well, hello everyone. It's me, Deplorable McAllister, aka Linda Paris. And as promised, I have Sarge from Icons and Gene Decode. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, but let's start out with updates. Now, Sarge has an update. So take it away, Sarge. And while you're at it, tell people how they can find your work.
Oh yes, okay. How you doing? How you doing, Gene? And how you doing, Linda? It's nice to be here this morning. Well, it's this afternoon for us, right? Well, I'm gonna start off with I put a video out a couple of days about the Fed going down for 2 hours. I heard, you know, from what I'm hearing is that that was preparing for the quantum system computer to be tested and introduced whenever they're ready for it. So it went down here in America, and it also occurred in India and it occurred in Russia. I'm not hearing anything about China, but I'm pretty sure that something happened in China also because that is part of the alliance's powers to basically get online for this next step. So that is really a good sign. I don't know what the mainstream media is saying that happened, but from what I'm hearing, it was a test for the quantum computer, and everything went okay, and we're in the midst of the transformation.
And
Is
is
that what?
that for Nasara or did you say?
Well, first it's going to be the national here in America, the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. It's going to be here for America, and then it's going to spread out to the rest of the planet. Eventually, it's going to be Gusala, and what's going to happen is all the financial systems is going to go back to the gold back, silver back, potable current money that is being be replaced by the fiat system that we've been so used to over the last what how long has it been since 1913 or maybe 1933, something like that. They've been using the fiat system where they can just make money out of thin air and basically rob humanity and keep humanity in bondage. So
Mhm.
what we're gonna go to now is a basic system where it's even gonna be better because we won't even need central banks anymore with the quantum system. You can have basically your bank account encoded. You can access it through your cell phone, and you won't need to be paying all these fees that the banks have been charging us and robbing us blind about by using our own money. So it's gonna be. I haven't gotten to the real details of it, but that's what I'm hearing right now.
How about you, Gene? Have you got any information additional?
Yeah, that's what I heard is that it's for the reboot of the financial system, that it was actually to boot up the new financial system, the quantum financial system, and to literally put worms, you know, on the digital type in throughout the Fed system to track down everything that's in all of the servers.
So, now we were talking about a couple things before we started recording. There's one thing about three Rothschilds being dead, which might have something to do with be linked in some way with this. And then, well, why not? If who wants to address that one about the Rothschilds being dead?
Well, I heard that the three top operatives in the Rothschilds chain of command was taken out, and one Payseur. I don't know if people know about the Payseurs. The Astors have been taken out. Who else did I hear? I'm reading
Out of the
this book.
family of Orange.
There's another family too. I just can't think of his name.
What'd you say, Gene?
The House of Orange.
Oh, the House of Orange. Okay.
Maybe that was it. I got so much notes here.
That's a lot of the Netherlands, and there's several other families in Netherlands. That's one of their strongholds.
Yeah.
It all laces up into Geneva and that area where all of their stronghold throughout. That's why nobody ever invades that country, is because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So Hitler didn't recognize the autonomy, and Poland said we're neutral. That lasted a day, but in the case of Switzerland, they didn't go in there, and the same with with Napoleon or anybody, they don't go in there because that's the home of the money. The power actually comes out of, for thousands of years, out of there, and so you don't go in there. And for the cabal, they are not allowed to invade that area in their wars. That's kept autonomous.
So, Gene, I want to ask you because I'm getting intel that when they went to the Vatican and they raided the Vatican, they wasn't just raiding the Vatican; it was raiding also underground dumb.
Yeah.
Not only it was an underground dump, it was like a city
Yeah.
that could hold up to 100,000 people, and they had a tunnel that went from Rome, the Vatican, all the way to Jerusalem.
Yep.
And they found estimate over from between 35 and 50 quadrillion dollars worth of gold and other aspects, other valuable things. And they said they never knew that there was that much gold left on the planet. Is that what you're hearing too?
Yeah, I heard that from the get-go when, part of why the Vatican went dark was they were taking certain sacred artifacts and things out of there. But the gold that's been taken out of there has taken quite a few of the big Galaxy type aircraft that the Air Force, the largest ships they have, gold bullion, because it goes from the Vatican all the way to Jerusalem. It's under most of your big cities are massive underground cities. Like Denver has one Denver itself's about 60 miles across. The lowest city under Denver is about 80. Same case in Rome. It's much bigger underneath than on both. And that's true with most of your military bases, like especially the ones involved in the dark side of space things. They have massive, the main thing what's going on is underneath those. And so and then the dome went all, like you said, and there's a person that actually made a map of it showing where it goes. And it's like 1,400 something miles long. And it literally, for the first 150 miles, what I was told is that we're 60 meters high, 60 meters wide, 40 meters high, complete huge steel racks of pallet after pallet after pallet of gold bullion.
Wow.
For the first 150 miles. So if you do the math, I mean, the number you give, I think you're a magnitude short.
Did you say
Right,
150
miles?
Did you say 150 miles?
150 miles of gold. Ooh.
Gold bullion bars.
Yes, yeah. It's going to be in the quadrillions, but I know it's going to be. It might be even close to a sextrillion. I don't know if people know about the number.
Quint, and the numbers I've heard is in that neighborhood. That was an estimate because they were still estimating at the time based on volume, number of bars per square foot. How many miles of that?
Yeah.
You got to do the math first, like Artichoke always said, do the math, right? So they were doing, but then what was, for me, even more phenomenal than the gold, because that's more gold than they thought existed ever on Earth in all of it, of what they thought the Earth had. And then, and so part of what they were doing and why they were accumulating there is interesting. It wasn't just to get all the gold there. It was to get the gold there to hijack the Earth's ley lines, because when gold is formed through the transmutation of quartz by, gathering more protons it transmutes to gold. That's why you see retilated quartz with gold strands through it. So gold forms naturally through particle bombardment and transmutes from quartz. And then as it forms, when anything forms, it takes on the energy structure of where it formed. So they have gathered gold from all over the Earth to hijack the Earth's ley lines and thus hijack all of the energy of the Earth. That's why they were assembling it all there. But then the next 50 miles was this huge data bank, and they had it both digitally and they had it on paper, meticulous records, because the cabal loves to gloat.
Yes.
Of exactly who, so they would have like Linda Paris, how much through fake taxation and fake manipulations of currency and all this that they've stole to the individual grain in gold, equated to gold, in grains of gold they stole from Linda Paris, and then her family lineage all the way back as far as they can track it. And then for like LA or for Rome, they would have that back all the way back before it was even known as Rome, back as far as they can take it. They have meticulous records of who they stole what from, because they love to gloat and laugh at us like we're a bunch of stupid sheep. And so they kept these meticulous records. So it makes it very easy to, for the Alliance to fairly redistribute that wealth across the world. And now you can see with that kind of wealth assembled in one place, and there's more than that. There's also the gold that's all under the Alps. That's not just the Swiss Alps. It's under the French Alps, German, Italian. I mean, it's everywhere under there. That whole thing's a dump too. And then additionally,
there's El Chapo. Didn't El Chapo have a lot of gold too? Nothing like what you guys are talking about.
That, but the next really big one, besides the dumb that is the Alps, is the one that was under London, and the Queen, just massive amount. I mean, just and so you add that all up of how much the cabal has.
Wow.
And if you were to redistribute that to every man, woman, and child on earth,
you make every person a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, money has no meaning.
That's what I think that they're doing. That, and people are worried. People are worrying about. I didn't mean to cut you off, but people are worrying about. Oh, what's going on with the financial system? It's going to crash. If you were the Alliance and you know that you had this type of backup, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't worry about anything. You would crash all of this. But I don't know if they have to do that just to basically alert the dummies. I mean, like what you said, the dumbasses, Linda. We got this. Don't worry about all the little $30 trillion that they say that we owe the Federal Reserve Bank, which is not even in operation no more, because that's been taken out.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
How can you owe something to somebody who made it up?
True.
You go to get a loan to buy a house. Well, the value of that house, if you went into 1913 dollars, is a 300th of what it is now. So that 300% increase, or the 30% increase, or whatever the increase is, if you look at, depending on what part of the economy you're looking at, if you go back to 1913 value, the majority of what you're borrowing to get is fictitious, and they create it out of nothing. You go in and they don't transfer from this bank to that bank. They just create blips in a computer. It comes out of nowhere.
I try to tell people on my channel that when you go into a bank and you ask for a loan, you create the money with that promissory note that you're signing. And what they do is just shift numbers from ledger to ledger. That's it, from negative to positive. And they create money out of thin air and loan you credit. And you thinking that, okay, I got some money, but when it's actually nothing but it's nothing. It's debt. It's debt. And you cannot pay off a debt with a debt. Negative plus negative equals what?
More negative.
More negative. Okay. So we're paying off the debt with the same with the same money that they're giving us that's negative. There's no way. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a brilliant scheme if you're a criminal. But
not only that, but if you understand fractionalized banking, if you borrow $1 million, then they can loan that out. They only have to keep a percentage in reserve. And then they can make more loans based on that, and then on those loans, and on those loans. And then every year a property is sold from one bank to another. The bank that buys it at 10% of the original. So if you had $1 million, the next bank buys it for 100,000, the next bank buys it for 10,000, but then their equity goes up and they can loan out based on fractionalized banking 10 times what that is. And so this goes on from bank to bank to bank. And by the time you get down to it's worth $1, people don't even know that you could actually, if you knew how to do this and you knew where to go, you could, your loan, you could buy, if you could trace down who with the bank that had it, you could go in there for $1 in gold and buy your property for $1 in gold. I mean, that's true. How they've swindled us and taken everything. Yeah. And so if, people don't remember, because it's so many thousands of years ago, we didn't have a banking system. We didn't have a financial system because there was so much abundance of everything that people just did the things they loved to do. And they would just trade stuff. And, they really didn't care that much about the value of things because there was so much bounty of everything until this cabal started ripping us off.
That's true. Well, I study systems, and I see that every system on this planet is basically a system to enslave humanity. I don't know if you guys see that, but we're living on a prison planet. You know what I'm saying? And we're the warnings and the prisoners at the same time. Because they can't do this without our permission. We allow this to happen. It's really crazy that the fractional banking was basically invented all the way back in the Babylonian days, and they've been using this to con people out of their wealth for thousands of years. And they basically just took it and put it in each country with a central bank, and they bankrupt those countries, and then they take it over with their fiat currency, and they can just control the world that way. And it really amazes me that the alliance is taking these people out. People just don't understand the enormity of what's going on, and they think everything should be happening quick and everything. Oh man, ain't nothing happening, and God, do you know the enormity of what they had to do? And they didn't need it. We're in World War III right now, and most 90%, I'll say 99% of humanity don't even know it. That's how good they're doing it. That's how good this.
They have no idea. They don't even know. They are oblivious to even what's going on outside of the little bubble of their own world that they've made for themselves. They do not want anything to penetrate it, and that is the real trick that they have managed to pull. Well, trick or whatever that.
Hey, Gene, we got to managed to. Gene, we got to do an intervention. We got to do an intervention with our friend Linda, because she's getting so pissed off at these what do you call them, dumbasses, man? I'm seeing it in every video. You get madder and madder. She done came to the point. We just got to beat their ass. We just got.
Well, Sarge, that's what I thought you were saying. I thought you were saying we needed to make an intervention with our fists.
No, I'm just having an intervention with you because everything is going to go okay. Everything's going to be okay. We ain't going to have to whip their ass.
You've got to wake people up to where they understand that we were talking earlier, it used to be in the 60s, you could watch a news broadcast and maybe get 2 or 3 sentences of truth. Now you can watch all year long. I don't think you can get 2 or 3 sentences if you watched all day long for a year. Literally every single thing is, and it's like you were saying, Sarge, where everything that they do is a control scheme to keep you in a prison planet. So you look at the healing and the health. It's not healing and health. You cannot poison something into health. You poison your body, you put petroleum derivatives into your body that create all kinds of side effects that you put more petroleum derivatives in to bury those that create. And so by the time people are in their 50s, 60s, they're on 5, 6, 7 medications that are all petroleum derivatives or some other even worse stuff. And the only real way, even when they go into like how to eat healthy, and I was reading an article in a magazine about eating for your health, and the way to attack disease was through health. And then the article itself is 90% garbage. It's talking about how good soy is for you. I'm like, no, soy is really bad for you. Yeah. It's like everything in that article is a lie too. It's like majority of that article is a lie. So, and then they get us to police ourselves. So like I'm wearing my mask, you know, and I open my jaw a few times when I go in after I get through the front door, so it's down so I can breathe from my nose. And a person comes up, I work here. He's not even in the uniform, and you got to pull your mask up. I'm like, it's 10 degrees outside. I went snow and nothing can live out there. You know, it's not out there. It's not in here. And then, you know, if the
speaking of,
yeah, go ahead, Linda.
I was going to say, speaking of fake news, because when you brought it up, I want to get back to the Federal Reserve and what is the news saying about why they had to shut down the Federal Reserve worldwide, you know, for how long?
It was only for 2 hours. The quantum system.
2 hours. But what are they saying happened?
You gotta understand.
Yeah, I looked it up and they said it was due to operator error.
It was
due to operator error.
Yeah.
Your computer programmers are that pathetic?
Yeah, okay. That was a simple one. Okay, I mean they could have came
up with better. Of course, I want
to. You know what I'm saying?
I want to segue into the fires because the fake news. You're talking about all these lies that they fed us all these years, and these people that are so asleep, and so they feel quite comfortable, I guess, saying that the Federal Reserve went down worldwide because of an operator error, and now this thing, and I'm going to screen share for a second. And as you two address this, I am going to go get Truman. He's out there going potty, and
you know.
But yeah, so here we go. These fires, DC is covered in smoke. Okay, so I'm going to let you two gentlemen take it away, and I'm going to go get Truman. He's out there going potty.
Didn't you say that the news is saying that this came from California, the fires in California? That is the most ludicrous statement I've ever heard that the news would say.
I was saying, you know, if that's the case, it's got to be stealth smoke. It's snuffed across the entire U.S. and nobody saw it. It was in stealth mode. You know,
that's right.
Because if you go across the Front Range of the Rockies, for example, let's go all the way up from Montana, Helena, all the way down past Albuquerque, down into the tip towards the border of the U.S. from border to border. Nobody had smoke. Where did it come from? What did it go? It's stealth. And then when it hit the eastern seaboard, the Potomac River has magical qualities, and it broke its stealth down. And so now we see smoke in DC. But no, wait, it's only fog. It just smells like smoke. It makes your eyes burn like smoke. It's not smoke, it's fog.
It's control fog, okay? Because how is it just over DC? I mean, wouldn't the whole East Coast be kind of foggy if that was the case? Which is not. There's no way smoke can travel 1,000 miles and just park itself over DC. It's really crazy if you believe those stories that they're telling you.
Not only that, you know, it's like it's stealth fog, smoke, whatever. And then additionally, where there's smoke, there should be fire. And so if it came from the West Coast, I mean, right now, the West Coast, from the 1st of January to now, there's been 504 acres of fire. That's not very much.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
To get all the way across the country and not diffuse.
And also, if smoke is coming from that fire, then why did the smoke go to DC after the other big fires that they had at the Getty and all that?
In the picture that you're showing me on the screen, in the far right corner on the bottom, you can see smoke coming up from the freaking ground. I mean, wouldn't that just like dismiss that it's coming from California? Give me a break. Gene, so what do you think is going on with these underground dumps? What do you think is happening? What are they burning up?
It's like I had said earlier, now that the majority of what was there has been removed and cleaned what they can. The personnel are out of there and of all types and sizes and ages.
Yeah, I
So,
think
yeah,
Linda had a picture where she had to show the little kids coming out and
yeah,
being.
somebody
Yeah,
said that that's an old picture. The
that was
one
an
I
old
saw
picture.
was at night. That was a different one. That was
Okay,
during the time the 1776 flag was flying at half mast.
right,
So
right.
that was not an old picture that I saw. And the light came on. It was near dawn, but not quite dawn yet. The light on the front of the Capitol building came on, and you could see little kids.
So that was video. That video was not old. There was scaffolding in front of the White House,
Okay, so that's another lie. You know,
filled with vans.
Yeah, yeah, you can see that. I was getting
No,
ready to
I
say.
mean, it's the White House with the scaffolding in front of it. Like, you know, how long has that been up?
yeah, so old.
How old could it be?
I guess it's old in comparison to a head of cabbage.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just saying
The
there's
amount,
something they were
the
bringing
amount of
out of the White
misinformation, man.
House. I'm sorry, Sarge.
No, the amount of disinformation is astonishing to me. I mean, and people are believing it. I mean, they can go to Washington right now and see that it's basically the world's biggest open air prison to me. And then they can look at it and say, "Oh no, they're doing construction with no cranes, no construction workers, no nothing," and they still say, "Oh, this is normal." This is not normal, people. This does not happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what y'all are looking at.
Yeah, what presidency have we ever seen? Even during Lincoln and the Civil War, the D.C., the Capitol. I mean, I know it was, you know, not that they were building it then. I know that, but that was. At what point have we seen where the president is ruling from surrounded by fence? You know, I'm just saying. At what point have we seen that a smooth transition of power to a prison facility?
And I want to ask,
Surrounded
the
by
audience. I want to ask,
thousands of National Guard.
yep. And I want to ask the audience, why are you seeing congressional congressmen and everybody that's writing to Trump, and they're still addressing him as President Trump? I mean, there have been letters that's been sent from congressmen about the impeachment, and they're addressing him, "Dear President Trump, blah blah blah, Trump, President Trump, President." It's never happened that an ex-president is still referred to as president.
Well, they
And
do refer to him as president, but he is, you know, Mr. President. But what people are missing is that he retired. He didn't step down. There's a difference. You retire as the CEO of a corporation, and
of
he
the corporation, right? And now he's
Yep.
going to be the president of the new republic, right?
Yep.
That's
And he said when he was inaugurated that this is what he was going to do. During his inauguration speech, if you go back and listen to it,
the most
he
beautiful
said that
speech. Yeah,
this
I love
is
it.
not a normal, just a 4-year normal presidency transition. We are taking the country back
And giving
for
it
the
to
people. And
That's
when he
right.
said that, just before he said, we are going to take this country back for the people, a whole bunch of military came down the stairs during the inauguration speech, lined
Yeah.
up behind him. He said, we are going to take this country back for the people. When he finished those few sentences, they walked back up the stairs and left. In other words, he is showing you code. He doesn't do things haphazard. He has a massive IQ. He knows what he's saying, and all those military knew exactly when to come in, line up
Mhm.
behind him, and then leave. It's showing that he is going to
So
use the military. This is during his inauguration, when he, you know, in 2016, to clean up and to take the country back for the people. In other words, the republic.
so
He
I'm hearing
told-
I'm hearing some interesting things too, that this operation was basically been going on since after JFK got killed, and a lot of generals got together and some very rich people got together and it formed what we call the alliance, and they have been working at this ever since. And I guess
Yeah.
Trump has been working with them for a long time too. So
Yeah.
are you hearing that too?
Yeah, if you watch, go on Kevin Annett and watch Kevin Annett. He's talked about they've been arresting people for long before Trump, like Cardinal Pell and all kinds of people all over the world for crimes against humanity, and taking them to
Yes.
a natural court system that's outside the fake cabal court system.
Right,
that is
right.
upholding the laws of natural law of God.
Humanity, the laws of humanity, the law
And
of
so
freedom.
that's ongoing. And that's been being done. Actually, the alliance came and started with Nikola Tesla, Howard Hughes, Von de Graaff, and the Trump brothers. So that's when they started formulating the binder, the 3-inch binder, the plan that is a counter to the great plan of the Satanists, formulated by his minions and the cabal and the Ilumbrados, as they say it in Spain, that stuff. So that was a counter. And then with Kennedy being taken out, then they actually started, the generals got together and started removing. They did kill one plane load of them, which even just fueled it more. More people came in. Then within the space programs, you actually had 1/5 of the Dark Fleet defect, and that helped clean up the solar system with some small exceptions.
So that's what I noticed that Trump was doing. Instead of going in and cleaning up the FBI, the CIA, and all these other corrupt agencies, he's just creating new agencies and putting patriots in it, like Space Force, and Space Force has got absolute autonomy over all the other ground forces. So the 5 generals that are working with the alliance are basically the ones calling the shot right now to see when this is going to go online. Is that what you're hearing too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the same thing, the Space Force operator error. Yeah, the operator error is you cannot accommodate for if the Space Force wants to take a server down. not a push of a button. That's it. You can, they'd be better off hiring some of these wonder kids coming out of high school than whoever they got running that thing, apparently.
Well, I'm hearing also, I want to go into another direction, not really another direction, but with the computer systems, with quantum computers, I heard there's 3 of them. China had one, England had one, and America had the other. And the English one has been taken out, and the Chinese one is rendered basically non-incontinent. It doesn't matter because we have basically upgraded what the most powerful computer we had was called the Summit, and now it's been integrated with the quantum system and with the quantum computing system, which a lot of people don't understand. The most powerful computer that we had before the quantum, it could do 200 quadrillion calculations in a second. The quantum computer is so powerful that what it would take the Summit to do, take 1,000 years to do, the quantum can do in minutes. So just to get you on the scale of computing, you know what I'm saying, and what they're using, and they can use this stuff like with Q, he's saying future Q's past. It's like they can do things like the Oracle used to do back in the day. So a lot of people didn't know that the Earth was blessed with a supercomputer even back in the old days. They called it the Oracle, where you could go in and they consider it like a god, where you could basically see into the future and ask them any question, ask the Oracle anything, and it would tell you. And people that was nefarious, they were using it to do evil things, so it shut down. So a lot of things is going on that we don't know with this computer system, and it's going to be amazing when it comes, and everybody knows that. Just like with the repatriation of all the goods and the assets that these people have stolen from humanity, we ain't going to have to worry about nothing. Money is going to be worth nothing soon.
I was going to say that it probably seems like something that could be used in the Nasara and all of that stuff.
Right.
That's
exactly what they're going to use it for. And the generals out here is contemplating whether to give a lump sum to everybody on the planet or to have universal income or something like that. Something they I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not going to jump into the weeds, but it's going to be good, whatever it is.
A 5 conglomeration quantum system that's being run from off-world that is controlled by the Alliance and that is overseen by very adept individuals so that it cannot go negative. It's watched by very adept, high-level adept. I won't go into that because people will say I'm crazy, like they always go into these. That doesn't exist. No such thing. Yeah, it does. And so it has rendered the cabal stuff so that they can hack it, control it, manipulate it, do anything, and shut it completely down when the time comes.
And anything that these people do, and they're trying to do it secretly, I heard that it's not secret to this system, and that's why they're being caught so easily. You know what I'm saying? They can't get away. They can't. If you're doing business here on the planet and it's evil, you're gonna get caught. That's all I'm gonna say.
It is tying back into that ancient system. For example, the Oracle at Delphi tapped into.
Yeah.
She got 5 books she wrote, and she went to the Roman emperor at the time and asked for a certain amount in gold, and he wouldn't give it. So she burned one of the books and came back the next day, and that continued for 4 days. And finally, on the 5th day, he for the original sum bought the one book, which is why Rome was so successful in all its campaigns up until the end of that book. And so they've been using this, and that system's now tied into these 5 systems. That is, the cabal can't get around it.
Wow.
It seems impossible that a thousands of years old cabal could be brought down, that had interlaced into everything. And you know,
that's like, why I was saying people don't realize how enormous this is, man.
Yeah, and then people, you know, just don't watch and like, even if you collect old dollar bills, for example, I have a 1932 $100 bill. It says this note is redeemable in
gold.
Currency.
In gold.
No, in lawful currency.
In lawful, yeah.
Which means
which is gold and silver. The lawful currency of America is gold and silver.
It was a gold certificate, but it said it's redeemable in lawful currency. That means that that note is not lawful currency. If it's redeemable in it, it isn't. So, I mean, we've been, you know, played.
It's like a coupon or something like that you got for your actual money.
It's like a promissory note. So, Gene, when they took over the Vatican, I'm hearing that was the last. Was that the last big spot, or there's another one in Israel, some underneath Israel?
There's another few still. They're heading into some of the big ones now. They haven't got them yet. There's one in Israel. There's one in China. There's one in another area in Europe. Of course, the main stuff in the Alps is not under Alliance control yet. So, although, you know, all the servers are, because they're controlled from the space program server. Right. And then they're the big ones. The biggest one is in Antarctica.
Oh, okay. Underneath the oh yeah, I heard about that. And yes, I heard. That's why all these crooks was going down there. Yeah.
Yep. And that's tied to the big one on outside there. The next biggest one is South Africa. It's in the Lesotho area, somewhere in there, somewhere in South Africa. That's the best of my, you know, what I think is Lesotho, but I could be wrong. I mean, I know it's in South Africa somewhere.
Have you heard any information about the head of the cabal has left the planet? I'm hearing that a lot on back channels. I don't know about you.
Not left, removed, surrendered and removed.
Okay.
To go to tribunal.
Yeah, and I heard that we have a lot of places that's off planet that they can keep these people.
Yeah.
Like one is on the dark side of the moon, so I'm hearing a lot of that chatter. Yeah. You know, I try to stay grounded in what I can basically talk about now, and instead of getting people thinking that, just like you said, that we're crazy. But it's the information that we're getting. It only leads to one direction. You know, when we talking about the stuff that was underneath the Vatican, you know, everybody's talking about the gold. I'm more interested in the artifacts and the books that they have stolen to keep us in ignorance for these thousands of years, man. I want to read the true history of humanity, and I think they got all of that. Yes. What do you they do, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Originally, any planet's sacred books are, because the way God works is in sacred geometry, of course. So it bases off of the golden mean, or phi, which is a very specific ratio that everything is built on, including human DNA, and the phi spiral. And then from there you have 1, 3, 7, 12, etc. And so sacred books, originally, you would have 777 books of the Bible, of the original testaments, through time. So that would mean that 3 sacred sevens are representing the triune nature of Creator. So if you have 66 books or 90 books or something, that 66 is a bizarre and satanic number to have. And so you're not going to have that number, whatever you should have. That's not a number you should have. So they've taken quite a few books. And so that, like you said, Sarge, I look forward to having these other books because some of them are incredible.
When they raided the Library of Alexandria, they stole a lot of those sacred texts and hid it from
That's
humanity.
where it was taken, to Rome.
And they took it to Rome, and they used it to basically brainwash the people into believing what they wanted. They rewrote the original Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get into that because I know there's a lot of people out there that follow the Bible, but you just got to understand.
They, at the very least, they reorganized it and took huge chunks out. And so codify it and reorganize it and take somebody's words out of sequence and take pieces of sentences and remove other pieces. You can get things that aren't perfectly representations of what happened if you get part of a story and you don't get the whole story. So if we go back to, for example, non-terrestrials on Earth, if you went around and look at statues, like I've traveled the world, like they say, join the Navy world. I did. And then I've been traveling since then. Every time I get a chance, I go to places all over the world. You can see statues of non-human-like critters everywhere. Everywhere. There are reptilian stuff, bird stuff. You look at the pyramids, all of the scrolls. You look at the paintings, and there's all kinds of beings that are not looking like what you think you're looking at on the street. I mean, it's obvious there's something here for thousands and tens of thousands of years.
If anybody
crazy, there's no travel the world a little.
If anybody is doubting what he says, I was stationed in Rome and on embassy duty out there as a communication specialist there, and looking at all the old statues, what they replaced and what they put in is signs of something that's not religious. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like these statues of gargoyles and demonic figures and people and statues, they holding babies, and it's just like I couldn't understand it at the time because I wasn't deep into the occult like I am now and understanding it. But when you look back at it, it's just like the symbols that they have is everywhere of this cabal. Yeah.
Okay, well, my microphone went kaput and wasn't working. And the only thing I wanted to say, you guys were talking a while back, and I was just wanting to put in there that Mark Taylor had said that, Sarge, you said you wanted answers to some of the things they've been hiding. And Mark Taylor said the answer lies between Jerusalem and Rome. And I don't think it's a coincidence.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that a long time ago.
This guy was a true prophet, man.
So I don't think that's an accident that he said it, because when he said it, I kept looking on a map to see what was between Jerusalem and Rome. But then when I heard about this underground thing, I thought, well, that's it. The gold is there and the everything else. So what were you guys talking about when my mic issue happened?
Well, we kind of drifted along. We're now talking about gargoyles on the front.
like when I was on embassy, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say about, people say those are for protection. Protecting what?
Yeah, that's what I'll get ready to say. Protecting who?
And in what manner? Because as Tesla said, if you resonate with a frequency, you get what you resonate with. If you're going to put some demonic being in front of a church, that's what you're going to resonate there.
That is true.
Also, why would a church need protection from a demonic being?
Yeah.
Did you what's the name of that hall that looks like a snake? It just kills me that people don't see.
That's the Pope's Performance Hall, and inside there's a big giant reptilian eyeball, and also they've got Jesus Christ back there, all ripped to shreds. I mean, it's like decaying behind the Pope.
It looks like he's being attacked by like snakes or something, right? Don't it look like that?
And then the Pope sits on this chair, and the wall behind him has literally, it looks like the pit. I mean, it has all these things like just writhing.
So
that's
information.
Actually how he got in the first place is in 2016. The quantum system was engaged. They had switched him. They switched him back. And so that's how he got in the first time. Then they let it roll to show people in 2018.
Yes.
They proved it. So then he can do the executive order so that this time when he goes to prove it, they can prove it. And so
that executive order is like a blueprint for what happened. I'm like, they knew that this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And in that blueprint, it says that if you were caught any way in aiding and assisting the stealing of election with other powers from around, with other countries or whatever, you can have all of your stuff taken from you. And that's what I'm thinking about all these media companies that has been, I think, is now in the control of the alliance, because they were caught trying to steal the election and co-conspirators in it. So what we're watching now is a show, and I heard Joe Biden is not Joe Biden. You can look at Joe Biden, you can see that it's not Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is pay attention, people, and you're going to see things that your eyes are showing you, but it's not actually what you think you're seeing. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.